And up here at the top right-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom, we have our blue Protoss player from the team Infinity 7. Down 0-1 in this set so far, trying to tie it up. It's Axslav. And his opponent down here at the bottom left-hand corner. From Root Gaming, our pink Terran player, Kitty, Major, Windy, Brittany, Anaprosser, Terran. Did I forget one? I think I got them all. Major.
All right, so I want to talk a minute about Axslav. You know, playing a little differently than he typically does. I mean, Axslav I've seen definitely a lot of, you know, especially being involved with Infinity 7 lately. And this guy just loves to go Nexus first. More recently, the build we've been seeing out of him, it's a Nexus, typically a 17. He follows it up with a Forge. He goes to Gateway, Gas, Cannon, and then he sees exactly what his opponents do. You know, oh, do you have a Tech Lab? Are you coming at me with a Reaper or something like that? He tries to rush out a Stalker. Oh, if a push is coming, second Cannon throws down 2 more Gateways. In the other game, and it looks like this one as well, we are seeing him go for these Gateway openings. And, I mean, I can't help but think that maybe he just, you know, there's a certain level of fear and respect that he's giving to Major.
Well, Major, like we said, he'll usually take a build and he'll just do it again and again and again and again and again until it just kind of bludgeons you to death. That's kind of his style. And
well, notably, I mean, the opening we were talking about from Axslav, Nexus first into Cannons, I mean, would work fantastic against 6 Marines.
Oh, having the cannon there would have saved him, like no doubt. I agree with you. This, though, is going to be a little bit different. Axslav not going to see anything as far as barracks or anything along those lines. And look at this. He's actually hiding his SCVs down to the bottom right-hand corner to convince Axslav that there's some cheese coming up.
Oh, my God.
Now, will Axslav actually pick up on this?
Wow.
He does. He gets back in with the scout. That was a really cool attempt there by Major to convince his opponent that he was going for a super proxy Rex, but it doesn't work. In Axslav, he has the information he needs. He should know, though, oh, he doesn't check up here at the top right, and he won't know that there's an expansion coming up.
All right, so Axslav is in the most confusing state right now. I want to say that I think Major may have actually pulled too many SCVs there.
Yeah.
The SCV count was so obnoxiously low. Like, your proxy racks is an 11-11. There were more like 6 or 7. Like, I was like, this is what when I go into a Zerg mineral line and I see this much, it's a 6 pull or 7 pull.
Yes.
And you don't really 6 racks, but...
He left 6 SCVs, which, assuming that it was like... No, because at this point he would have had more, because even if it was an 11-11 racks, he would have had 9 SCVs
and he would have, if they had already left, Axslav would have seen them on the way in. You don't pull SCVs that early for a 2-rack. So, I mean, a really cool idea out of Major. I'm just, you know, I almost want to go and look at the replay and see the timings of everything to see if it was actually executed perfectly. But either way, guys, Axslav getting the read on it. I mean, he's dropping a Nexus now, and he's not going to be in a bad position at all.
No, I mean, as we can see, Major is going to get a good read on what Axslav is doing, but Axslav had the better read to begin with because he knew that it was an expansion. He decided to not even start his gas, just went straight into his Nexus, now going up to that cybernetics core, and he's going to have a nice early warp gate technology on the way.
Yeah, he is. Pointing out, of course, why Axslav, guys, if you're like, oh, how did Axslav know that was an expansion? Still could have been a proxy 2-racks. He saw barracks going down in at the wall-off on his way out. And that's just a huge tell. The timing of that barracks, especially if you're going for like proxy 2-racks, you'd be building your barracks out on the field. If you were building a 3rd barracks, you wouldn't be building it at home. So that is, though Major, I mean, at this point, you'd never know. But either way, guys, he made the right call.
But Major did delay his economy just a little bit because he had the SCVs pulled away, and Axslav was able to drop down a very early Nexus, which actually got sat down and started producing quicker than this Orbital Command first did for Major. So Axslav is still in a fine spot. He's got a lot of workers. Wow. Now he's going to have to combat, though, against 4 racks, and this can produce a lot of unupgraded Marines, and Axslav has shown that, you know, he had a little bit of trouble dealing with that last time. Will he have enough units? Okay, he should know that this is coming now.
Yeah, that's a pretty hefty, I mean, especially with how late that barracks went down, you know that there's at least 2 barracks on the field when you see that, possibly 3, just with the sheer quantity of Marines there. There's no way he's operating off 1 right now. And that gives you a pretty good assumption that, okay, I need to drop some gateways, I need to make some units, but it's not what we're actually seeing out of Axslav, which is a little bit surprising to me. He's actually posed to take a 3rd here, possibly. I mean, he's leaving the probe.
Yeah, I mean, are we going to see a crazy gateway follow-up to something like this? Oh, nice job intercepting a few Marines in the middle of the map, and he's going to be able to easily chase down these first couple of forces. He hasn't really killed any yet. There we go. 2, now 3 die, but he has to get these units away as the Zealot has already fallen. But 4 Marines taken out is certainly worth it. Marine does pick up on this pylon off to the side. The Zealot actually swiping around from the back. Major finally picks up on it. And I don't think that Axslav's going to be able to warp anything in time. And yes, the Zealot is going to die.
All right, well, he's going to try to make these 2 Stalkers. Looks like he's going to succeed. Look at the natural expansion, if you would, for me. And we see actually a bunker going down and lots of gases being taken from Major. So he is still pumping out quite a number of Marines at a time. Stalkers engaging out at the ramp right now, going to be falling back. Axslav doesn't lose that Stalker. Very nice, but I want to point out Major has taken a third, and Axslav has a huge head start. Well, because it's not so huge, but he's got a head start in that department. And he's dropping down 2 forges now.
That's right. Well, you know, Major doesn't see this. He doesn't know that anything like this is coming up, so Axslav is certainly playing towards a little bit later game here. But as we can see, Major, his 3rd command center is ready to be lifted over to his base very quickly. So not really anything that 5 Stalkers are going to do at the front other than try and force out more units and delay the bunker a bit. He does manage to snag an SCV, which is nice, and he will contain his opponent if his opponent has decided to move anything out over there.
Ooh, and an SCV just went down, but it did manage to get the scout on that 3rd from Axslav. So important knowledge there for Major, knowing that Nexus is completed. Gives him huge timing. Now he gets some confidence. Charges forward with these Marines. Takes out 2 Stalkers. Nice plays there from Major.
Okay, so let's take a look at the worker count. It's 48 to 42 now, but of course with another orbital command on the way, this economic advantage is going to really close up here soon, but Axslav does have a nice head start on triple producing probes for quite a while. He's already up to 51 at this stage of the game. 3 more gateways coming out with multiple upgrades, but no hint of robotics technology, no hint of Twilight Council, but we should see one of those soon enough so that at the very least, yeah, there it goes, he can put down those 2-2 upgrades.
Yeah, the real question here is who can play just a little bit greedier. So far, these guys have both been playing the kind of chicken game. They're driving at I don't know, at some greedy situation, and now they're both. I mean, all right, let's take a look at this. We've got double forge out of Axslav. We've got double engineering bay coming out of Major. On top of that, they both went for fast thirds. Now neither of them are really teching, which actually, take a look at Major's production tab. He's got a starport going down. I would say Major's winning this greed race.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it's going to come down to how much damage these Marines do right here, because if Axslav can actually hold on and not take much damage here, which it doesn't look like he's going to do, loses 1 sentry maybe? Yes, he does, but cleans up 1 billion Marines in the process, and that was a good trade for him. Secures this 3rd, and it's going to allow him to tech a little bit freer if he decides to.
Oh, Major never started his +1/+1. Kevin, that's really important and is going to be a huge problem as Axslav has already wrapped up his 1-1, just started his 2-2. He's going to be chrono boosting them. His 2-2 may even finish before Major's 1-1.
That's what I was about to say. I mean, against a Protoss player who's chrono boosting upgrades, being behind a little bit, if you're equal, let's say you start your upgrades at the same time as a Protoss player, then both you guys don't miss a beat, you go right from 1-1 to 2-2 to 3-3. The Protoss player, if they're continually chrono boosting, is going to finish about 2 minutes before your upgrades do. Maybe a little bit more than that, depending on how diligent they are with their chrono boost. But if you start it a full upgrade behind, there's a period of like 5 minutes in-game where they're going to have a massive upgrade advantage.
Yeah, this is actually, I mean, right now, Axslav, nice force fields, maybe saving him. No, he's supposed to lose a lot of units here. He may be forced to engage against this army, but I don't know if he has enough. Does force a second stim, though, out of Major. Major cutting really well right now with these Marines and Marauders, though. Zealots are falling. They do have those 1-1 upgrades, so, you know, they got a little bit of longevity to them there. And now Axslav is going to retreat, but not too bad for either player there, really.
Yeah, I mean, Axslav lost a little bit more than he wanted to. Major was forced to stim a couple of times, as you pointed out, but now is really the bulk of Axslav's strategy. I mean, he wants 2-2 upgrades. He's actually got a Dark Shrine on the way, and he's going to be morphing in some Storm Templar here in a second. Can easily turn those into to Archons as well.
No, Axslav doesn't want to fight yet. He's only about 20 or 30 seconds away from 2-2 being completed, but it looks like he's going to be forced to. Zealots going in. Nice kiting once again out of Major. Look at these the Marines just kiting away as the other ones are firing on the Zealots. Very nice there from Major. Axslav taking some heavy blows.
That's right, and you mentioned he didn't want to fight there. That was absolutely correct, because now he's in such a bad position. All of his forces are going to get cut off, and there's still a huge force that's bearing down on him that could do significant damage even to the to all of his bases. I mean, that's the worst part for him. There is a Dark Shrine that's actually on the way, and that may be Axslav's saving grace, but he needs Storms and he needs Archons here ASAP.
Man, Major needs to push. He's got a little bit of an advantage right now, but it's not going to last long. You know, a lot of those times you say, oh, if you're ahead, just kind of ride on that, expand, tech, do these things that will get you further ahead of your opponent. But the reality is that the longer this game goes on, the more powerful Axslav's army is getting. He's got 3-3 on the way. Major just finished 1-1, has yet to start 2-2. Major's looking like he's going to be in a very tough spot 4 or 5 minutes from now.
A little Zealot actually gets in there and picks off 5 SCVs, I believe, so good bit of economic damage done. Another couple of little mistakes here. Major did supply block himself pretty badly. He had to make 3 supply depots at once. But apart from that, he still does have a pretty significant advantage. There is the great upgrade advantage for Axslav, who's going to finish 3-3 before his opponent finishes 2-2. But now he's being dropped. He doesn't have anything to defend this. There are some DTs and Zealots that are about to make a bit of a counterattack, but there's really nothing back at home to stop this economic damage.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. So Axslav realizes he's at such an incredible unit deficit. He's actually going to try to go for multi-pronged counterattacks, but well, we can see the one at the third is already met by Major's forces. It looks like the one in the natural is not going to be too hard for him to contend with. I mean, yeah, at home, he's really just turning this into a base race as best he can because he doesn't feel like he can win it.
Okay, well, the Templar do manage to survive. I don't think there are any ghosts out yet, so there are some on the way, yes, but there's none there.
Wow.
Those are pretty good storms. They do a little bit of damage, allow the charge lots to actually move in and close. Yep. At the same time, the DTs are running relatively unopposed. I don't think that Major knows about this yet. This Dark Templar has 15 kills, but through this entire process, even though Axslav did clean this up, he's already lost 1 base, which means he has to meet the economic damage head on.
All right, well, supplies have substantially equalized. We had previously Major was at like a 50 supply advantage. Now much lower than that. Can we actually take a look at the worker tab? How out of it is Major's economy right now? So 40 workers to 63. This is actually a tough spot for Axslav. He needs to go home. He needs to defend right now. He's incredibly ahead economically, but Major could take this game with a very powerful counter.
Right, and he may decide to do just that. Does he pick up on this Dark Templar? He doesn't, so these DTs are going to continue to come in and just do more and more and more economic damage.
If this brings Major's army home, which it looks like it is, I mean, this is so good for Axslav right now. He just bought himself another 15 seconds.
Yeah, and all the while, he's reestablishing his natural. He's buffering his units back at home. He's actually got them all up at the front. So, little surprised, because if he gets his army caught out and devastated here in the middle, then Major's is going to be able to push and maybe not just push to victory right there because Axslav has such a better economy, but it's going to be close.
All right, and 2-2 is about to finish for Major right now. Axslav does have 3-3, but I see no reason for him to fight this army. EMP catches so many units. 1 storm does go down. It gets a little bit of damage in here, but you can see Axslav's in a full retreat. I mean, Kevin, what is he doing out there right now?
I don't know, man, because he's losing all of his units back at home, too. Nice job by Major, once again, to kite those units away and keep both Marauders alive. Just little touches that are really working out for him, and now he's got to go back home. Obviously, Major is now well aware of the fact that there are DTs used in the unit composition. Axslav finally has his next base back up and running, and he is on 65 workers, but he's once again losing, to a pretty staggering degree, that army advantage.
Yeah, he definitely is. Now, he keeps sending in, it looks like, is that another Dark Templar going into the natural? Okay. Yeah. Missile turret in position finally for Major. Major coming in with a double medevac drop. Could potentially kill off a number of workers and get this Nexus. DT's coming in. Does he have scans available? We're going to see DT trying to get some damage in here. There's the scans, kills off. There's actually 3 Dark Templar there. They're just mowing everything down.
DPS is way too high, especially when they get the first couple of shots unopposed. But now, Major decides that he wants to start moving out on the map. His economy is still, it's worse than it was before, but he's starting to recover nicely. How many Templar are in position to drop down storms? I don't see any, as a matter of fact, and that can be pretty bad. There's one. 1 storm. This is going to need to be monstrous for Axslav. EMP does miss the Templar. Mediocre storm. I don't think it's enough. He's going to lose this third. Well, Zealot's charging forward, going to try to make something happen here, but this is a very powerful ball at this point out of Major. Well, look at the same time, though. Axslav's doing more damage back at home. I've got to commend Axslav on the amount of damage that he's been able to do in kind of a backstab quality there, and he's forced the medevacs out of energy. That's one thing Major does. He does like to stim a lot. And now that this Dark Templar is starting to catch up and do damage, it actually looks like Axslav once again is going to stabilize. He still has a smaller army, yes, but he has done such economic damage this entire game.
I mean, that's it. That's it, Kevin. We were talking, if Axslav was able to hold that counterattack from Major, he had such an excellent economic disposition. He should go on to win the game. Now, of course, nothing's certain in StarCraft by any means, guys, but Axslav is in a fantastic position now as Major is behind economically, and he's held off the counter, and the bulk of Major's army has been dealt with. We can see Axslav's actually ahead in supply for the first time since I can remember.
And because of, I know this is going to sound weird, but because Axslav's natural was taken out, he actually has a lot more resources available to him. Major's actually going to starve himself out of this game quicker than Axslav will. So it's more imperative for Major to put up another base, even though Axslav's the one who's actually doing that, as we see in Nexus here in the top left-hand corner.
Wow. So, I mean, yeah, Axslav, we said it earlier, 4 or 5 minutes from now, if Major doesn't get in serious damage, Axslav's going to pull ahead, and we can see it in the fact, as you said, the natural expansion is now going to be, I mean, it's basically like a brand new base. You don't get too much mining out of that.
I've missed these super aggressive games, though. This feels like a StarCraft 1 game to me, almost. You know, it's just so many attacks back and forth. They're attacking all over the place. I mean, this is just a fun game. So often nowadays, we just see huge armies building up against each other, and that's it. This is StarCraft. All right, another storm goes down, and Axslav denies the space at the same time that he's getting in with yet more zealots and causing more economic damage, at least denying some mining, pulling this army back out of position, while he collapses on it from the front with a ton of splash damage. Oh, I take that back. Nice EMPs have actually taken out those Templar, and that's going to be difficult for Axslav.
Oh, Axslav could lose so many important units here. He's got a ton of Templar, trying to morph them into Archons. He's going to be essentially throwing them away. Nice moves here for Major in a position where he really had his back up against the ropes. He just came out swinging and threw Axslav backing into the ring.
All right, well, now we have another base up for Axslav. So he has his 4th established, and Major has no idea that this is there yet. The Zealots still doing damage. Axslav has killed 76 workers this game. He's now put his opponent on 24 SCVs. There is still an army advantage for Major at the moment. But what are his upgrades? Still just on 2-2.
Kevin, he's had that the entire game. Major always had the army advantage, and he has seemingly been unable to capitalize on it. Now we see Axslav once again swinging around this right-hand side, gonna send the workers away from the third, maybe even take it out this time. Major looking like he's finally going to try to force a base race. We'll see what happens.
This is going to be a very tense moment. There's not a lot here for Axslav to defend. He's running away with his probes, and exactly when the rest of the units catch up for Major, and now he knows about this base in the top left-hand corner. So Axslav's game is up to a degree. He's got to find something to delay this force, but he's going for the full-on base trade.
Yes, he is. Now, let's say that Axslav does have a lot of Templar. So during this base race, those Templar are going to build up energy, which is really going to factor in the main in the end fight when these two finally do clash. Axslav loses his 3rd. Now we see Major's actually going for the 4th. What do you think about that decision? Remember, the natural still has a lot of mining time left on it. Okay, maybe not a lot, but it's got a reasonable amount here, a couple thousand minerals. Exactly,
and he's still taking in some pretty good gas from across the map too, so this doesn't affect him as much as other things. What, he actually misses with an EMP too, so the Stark Templar still delaying this force, whittling it down slowly but surely, and it looks like Axslav was thinking about some sort of a pincer maneuver here to try and trap this army in, but that's still a lot of forces to contend with.
Axslav's also got +1 shields about to wrap up here in a second. I don't know about engaging here. Major is not mining. He's not mining at all. I mean, can we look at his income? What is it right now? He's got 100 minerals coming in a minute. So this guy's not bringing in money. Axslav, on the other hand, is. So the longer this engagement takes to take place, the better position. But here he goes. He's going to be diving in for it. Zealot's chasing down. It looks like Major's actually going to try to force a retreat.
Yes, he is. And he makes his way out of there. But we mentioned before, the income rates. And every time that Axslav delays and Major can't get another base established, that favors Axslav. Okay, there's no reason to look at the production tab right now, so let's go ahead and look at the available army. 9 Templar, 3 Stalkers, 18 Zealots against 23 Marines, 8 Marauders, and a single Ghost. There's almost nothing coming out on the map for Major, and it looks like Axslav, if he keeps himself composed and his opponent contained, then he is going to be able to eventually, slowly but surely, take this game.
Kevin, you mentioned it earlier, and it couldn't make more of a difference than right now. This natural expansion it is paying off in dividends for Axslav, and a huge storms obliterating Major's army. Has Axslav finally done it?
It looks like he has. The rest of the medevacs go down. Major's down to his last couple of forces, 23 supply, and Axslav, you beast of a man, he wins this very drawn-out game. This was basically constant aggression. I'm just going to put it on record. This is one of the most fun games of StarCraft that I've seen in a long time. Congratulations, Axslav, taking game number 2 and tying up this best of 5.
Guys, oh my god, I mean what an incredibly back and forth match, as you've said, Kevin. I mean, it's the epitome of what we want StarCraft to look like, because not only was that a game that it kind of evolved, I want to almost say it devolved into that, because remember, it started off as like, who can macro more? And a lot of times those type of games turn into like, we're just going to throw big armies at each other. Yeah,
they can kind of turn into snooze fests. I'm going to be honest. Like, when you have, like, don't get me wrong, I love the end game battles of 30-minute macro games where you have Mothership going up against Infestor Broodlord. It's very cool. It looks very neat. But that, to me, was just more dynamic and entertaining of a game that I've seen in a long time. So kudos to those two players.
All right, well, it is a best of 5, folks, so we're not even close to being done here yet. Quick commercial break coming your way, and then more Axslav versus Major for the GSL World Championship qualifiers.